Well, a very, very happy Friday morning, everyone. Welcome to the John Kentera Show on YouTube, Facebook, and X. Glad you could join me. Cactus League opener this afternoon. We're going to get into that. Padres have already had to scratch their starter. Can you believe that? I'll tell you about that in a minute. But again, if you're tuning in for the very, very first time, trying to work our way towards 4,000 subscribers. We're getting a little bit closer each and every day. So if you would please subscribe if you haven't already done so, please like, please share, please tell a friend. And if you'd like to become a member of our Gold Glove package, $2.99 a month. And really what you get for that is you get to tell your friends that you're a member of Coach's Gold Glove member club. And you also are helping us defray any of our costs for the program. So very much appreciate that. And of course, appreciate the nice supers that you folks throw in from time to time. Very much appreciate that. Well, today, the Cactus League opener. Padres, charity game against the Seattle Mariners. And I mentioned they've already scratched their original starter, Logan Gillespie, the right-hander, scratched late yesterday. His wife went into labor. And so they're going to go with a young left-hander, Jagger Haynes, probably only going to go an inning. Everybody goes an inning. So not really sure who's going to back up Jagger Haynes today, but wish Logan Gillespie and his wife the very, very best. I would think maybe the baby's already been born, but they haven't made that announcement yet. But Craig Stammen making his debut as the Padre manager. And you know what? Spring training, everything's scripted out. It's not difficult. You get the veterans in early, you get your closer in by the fifth inning, and then everybody heads out, and all the young guys that are in camp trying to show what they can get done will get the bulk of the playing time, especially early on. And then, of course, you got a bunch of guys leaving right around March 1st for the World Baseball Classic. So we'll see what today brings. And you know, I love spring training games. I love watching a lot of the young guys. But the thing you always are concerned about are pitchers early in the year trying to go out there, do too much, overthrow, and hit one of your key players. So, you know, I would imagine guys like Tatis and Machado, they're going to get a couple of at-bats today. They ought to be out of the ball game by, I would think, no later than the fifth inning. Probably get two at-bats and get them out. You know, it could be only one at-bat and get them out. And over the weekend, Padres have a couple of other games. They play tomorrow down in Surprise against Kansas City Royals. And on Sunday, they're going to host the world champion, two-time world champion, Los Angeles Dodgers. So it'll be a very interesting to see how everything goes over the weekend. Now, I wanted to talk a little bit about Randy Knorr, the bench coach. Because everybody's talking about Craig Stammen being a rookie manager, never managed a little league team that I'm aware of. So this is going to be a growing experience. He's going to be learning on the job. There's no question about it. He didn't go down to the minor leagues and work his way up from rookie league to A ball to double to triple A. He's in the big leagues now. Hasn't even been a coach in the big leagues. Yet he's going to be a manager. And we could say the same thing about Tony Vitello up there with the Giants, but he managed a lot in college baseball. Nothing in pros, but you know he makes out the lineup card and he knows the strategy, and he's got a lot more experience than Craig Stammen. But the Giants have also surrounded him with good baseball people. Bruce Bochy, Dusty Baker are advisors. Got a bench coach. Our old buddy Jace Tingler's the bench coach, who after he left San Diego became the bench coach for Rocco Baldelli the last few years in Minnesota. Now moves on to the San Francisco Giants. But I wanted to tell you a little more about Randy Knorr. He played part of 11 years in the big leagues as a catcher. He got an unbelievable amount of experience, though. Aside from playing parts of 11 years in the big leagues, he managed in the minor leagues for Washington, single A ball. He actually was managing when Craig Stammen was coming up through the Washington Nationals organization. So that's where they got to know one another. Then he moved to the bullpen coach two different times with the big ball club. Worked under Davey Johnson and Matt Williams. Then he became a senior advisor to the general manager for player development, Mike Rizzo. And then he managed the Syracuse Chiefs in AAA two different times. And recently, he was the first base coach in Washington from 2021 to 2025. And then when they had a big change in the organization, he got let go and immediately hooked up with our San Diego Padres. So I wanted to let you know just a little bit about who the bench coach is, who's going to be the right-hand man nightly for a rookie manager, Craig Stammen. Okay, we got to get to the automatic ball strike system. It goes into play today. And, I think a lot of people, I don't know if you like it or dislike it. I actually thought it worked very, very well last spring training. And it starts the pitcher, the catcher, and the hitter are the only ones to challenge, and they have to challenge immediately. If I'm managing, okay, if I'm managing my pitcher and catcher, the only guy that is going to challenge is going to be my catcher because pitchers always want to call. And I'm not going to beg. You only get 2 challenges. But as long as you're right, you keep those challenges. You could challenge 15 times and be right all 15 times. You don't lose a challenge. But you lose a challenge early in the game, you only got one left. And I don't know about you, but I'd like to keep one for maybe the eighth or ninth inning on a borderline call, especially if you're the home team, you got runners on, you want to make sure that umpire gets it right. So I'm not challenging unless I know I'm absolutely correct as a hitter, number one. And on defense, I'm only letting my catcher challenge. I don't want my pitcher. There's too much emotion involved with a pitcher, but they have to tap their helmet, and the umpire signals that it's a challenge, and then we all look at the scoreboard, and then it will tell. And it's going to be, I think, really cool for the fans. They were asking me yesterday when I was on with Fletch and Sammy on 760. And by the way, I'm going to be on every Thursday at 1:30. I should be on every Thursday at 1:30 on 760. So if you want to hear the latest and greatest on the Padres or the Aztecs, I'll have it for you every Thursday at 1:30. But you've got to challenge immediately. And I really think it's going to add something to the enthusiasm. You're going to either have a big cheer or you're going to have a boo. But it will be very interesting. I think it worked great last year. It was very timely. It wasn't like drawn out like these replays are. Tell me this morning in our chat box, tell me this morning what you think of the automatic ball strike system because I really like it. I like it a lot. I think it's going to work. I think it'll be good. And I also think it's going to show you how good the umpires are. If it's 50-50, I got to give the umpire a pat on the back. There are going to be a lot of borderline calls. There's always borderline calls. They could be strikes or they could be balls. They're that close. And I think these umpires, considering guys are throwing 95 to 100 miles an hour, they're bending the ball, changing speeds. I think umpires actually do a hell of a job. I really do. We can sit here and the announcers can sit there every night, bitch, moan, and complain about this guy's strike zone. You know what? I used to tell my players, the umpire's not going to adjust to you. You've got to adjust to the umpire. So get in there and get ready to hit. And, if it comes to be your third at bat, you know what this guy's been calling all night, not just when you're up, but you're watching from the on deck circle, you're watching from the dugout. You know what kind of umpire it is, especially when you have these guys as many times as they have them during the year. You know who the high ball umpire is, you know who the low ball umpire is. It's a game of adjustments, even for the umpire. And I guarantee you this every team in baseball, every team, not, just a few teams. Every team in baseball has a scouting report on the umpires. What type of umpire they are. They like to call the ball off the plate a little bit on the outside part. Do they give the pitcher a little bit on the inside? I guarantee you. And they also have, believe it or not, they have umpire ERAs. When this guy's behind the plate, pitcher's ERA combined is 3.53. This guy, 4.50. Okay, some guys are considered pitchers umpires, some are hitters umpires. But I think this ABS system is going to be really fun to watch. And like I said, I thought last year it worked really, really well. But I also think it's going to be interesting to see how teams go about hanging on to their challenge. Are they going to challenge early, or are they going to wait till the last 3 innings when it's in crunch time? See, I think, this is my own personal opinion, I would like to see replay not start until the 7th inning. That's my thought. The thing that really bugs me is when you have a challenge in the first or second inning. I remember a couple of years ago, Padre game, first play of the game, there was a challenge, and it just starts the game off on the wrong foot. It slows everything down right from the start. You can't get into a flow or a rhythm, and I'd rather see replay come into play from the seventh inning on. That's my take on that, but they're not going to do that. They got replay. I just want it to be a little bit quicker. But I also think going back to the umpires, I think replay a lot of time has shown that the bang bang call could go either way. And as long as base runners are running down the line and they hit the front part of the bag, they're going to get there a little bit quicker. You're not going to slide. Sliding slows you down. Only time you should slide is if the ball's high and you're trying to get under the tag because the guy can't get his foot back on the bag. But there's no reason to slide at first base unless you're trying to avoid a tag. You want to run through that bag. It's a lot quicker. But anyways, it's in play starting today, so I'll be very excited to see how that goes. Okay, little update on Ethan Salas. Third big league camp. Last year, really a wasted year. He played in 10 games last year, was 6 for 32, 188. Went down with a stress reaction in his back. They kept working on trying to get him back. They thought they were going to get him back, and then they said, "Now we're going to shut him down." Then they tried to get him to play in the Arizona Fall League. That didn't work. But he's in camp, working out. Probably early on, not going to get a lot of playing time in spring training games, big league games. We've seen him in the past playing big league games. Not sure how much work he's going to get early because the Padres want to take a look at a couple of other guys. They want to take a look at Rodolfo Duran, who they're very high on, by the way. In fact, I saw somebody write that Rodolfo Duran may end up being the second catcher and wipe out Luis Camposano. I'm not buying into that. And then the other one is the player they signed, a former Padre, second-round draft pick who got traded to Tampa Bay but now is back on a minor league contract, Blake Hunt, who's not played yet in the big leagues. He's played AAA, good catch and throw guy. I've told you, I saw him a lot when he played for Mater Dei High School up in Santa Ana. Big, strong guy, got some power. Hasn't hit for much of an average, but he's got some power numbers. And so he's going to get a little bit of work, but they're going to go very, very slow with Ethan Salas. And believe it or not, he's still 19. He hasn't turned 20 yet. It seems like we've been talking about this guy forever. He doesn't turn 20 until June 1st. And I'm a big Salas guy, okay? As far as catching, throwing, I think he's going to hit. I think they force-fed him a little bit and kind of the one year they moved him around to a bunch of different spots. They stuck him in Double A. Really wasn't ready, and they said, "Oh well, we want him to be in Double A because we've got all these good pitchers in Double A, and he can grow with them." Most of those guys are gone from the organization now, so it kind of, in my opinion, kind of slowed down his progress. And you go back to 2024, he played in the High A in Fort Wayne, hit 206 in 412 at bats, 4 homers, 53 RBIs. He's better than that. I think he is. And then last year he struggled. Then he had the injury. So, we're going to have to slow play, I think, Ethan Salas. And I think that's what the Padres are doing now. He's 20, not even 20 yet. If he gets here in 2 or 3 years, that'd be great. At 23 years of age, let him grow. Let him get that offense up to where his defense is. Because I think this kid got a chance to be pretty damn good. Used to be one of the top 10 players in baseball coming up through the minor leagues. Now, I don't think he's even in the top 100 by most people's accord because he hasn't performed up to his skill level, and then he's been hurt. So there you have it. But that's the update on Ethan Salas. Okay, Buster Olney. I wonder what's going to go on with him since ESPN doesn't have Sunday Night Baseball. I wonder what he's going to be doing. I think Buster does a good job. I think he works hard. He used to work here in San Diego before he moved around a little bit and covered the Mets, I think, for a number of years, and now has been at ESPN for many years. But he listed his top 10 relievers. And I'm going to start with number 10. Former Padre Josh Hader comes in at number 10. Devin Williams, who had a bad year last year with the Mets now, number 9. Our old buddy Bob Suarez. Robert Suarez with Atlanta, number 8. Abner Uribe from Milwaukee, number 7. Andres Munoz, a former Padre with Seattle. I like him. I think he throws the ball really well. Cade Smith of Cleveland at number 5. Aroldis Chapman. I'll tell you what, Aroldis Chapman, I know he had some off-field problems a few years ago, but this guy continues to pump the ball. He may be putting himself in line to maybe be a Hall of Famer one day. This guy has been a dominant closer for many, many years, but he's with Boston. Johan Duran from Philadelphia, he's tough. Edwin Diaz, who signed with the Dodgers, 3 years, $69 million. I was looking at his numbers. I didn't realize he had such a great year last year with the Mets. 62 games, 66 and a third innings, a 6-3 record, and a 1.63 ERA, and a WHIP of 0.87. He had 98 punchouts in 66 and a third. Gave up only 37 hits and had 21 walks. And then, so he's number two. And then our guy, Mason Miller. Mason Miller's number one, according to Buster Olney. In last year, combined between the Athletics and Padres, 60 games. He went 61 and 23, 28 hits, 28 walks, 104 Ks, and 61 and two thirds. And with the Padres out of sight, 22 games, 23 and a third innings. He was 0.73 whip with a 0.91 whip overall. Pretty amazing. So Mason Miller right now considered by Buster Olney, and I think by a lot of people, the top closer in baseball. And the Padres have him under control for a few years, so that's kind of cool. Okay, time to get out to some coaches' crew questions. And this is great because when we come in on Monday, and we're on Monday morning at 9 a.m., this is going to be great. We got 3 games that we're going to be able to talk about, who did what, and I'm really excited. I think, and I said this the other day, we were going through the positional roster. It is going to be so fun to watch who does what, how the Padres maneuver, how they go about putting this roster together. A guy like Will Wagner, who I think at the end of last year, Padres figured he was going to be their utility guy or, be on the roster. I'm not sure he's going to make the roster now. Everybody's got to stay healthy though. But Castellanos got to make the roster. I would think Ty France would make the roster. Griffin Canning, he's not going to be back for a while. He's throwing bullpens, but I don't think he's going to be ready for opening day. But hey, that's fine. Slow play these guys. You got some arms now. We got some guys here that can pitch. I'm anxious to see Herman Marquez. I don't know if he's pitching this weekend or not, but I'm very excited to see him pitch. That's one guy I really like. I just hope he's healthy. If he's healthy, he's going to help the Padres. But I don't know how much he has left. He's battled injuries, 23, 24, didn't pitch a whole lot. Last year, struggled. And, he played for an awful ball club, went 3-16, had like a 5.70 ERA. But the guy's been pretty good. Get healthy. Walker Buehler, another guy. He knows how to pitch. Hell, the guy's been on 2 World Series championship teams. He closed out that World Series a couple of years ago against the Dodgers. We got a lot of things to be excited about here, I think, with the Padres. You know what? I can't remember being this excited about the Padres in a long time. Even when they had Soto, because he wasn't one of my favorite players. But I really think we got a good ball club. And we got guys at the top of the rotation between Pivetta and King. They're number 1 pitchers. We got 2 number 1s here. And then hopefully Joe's able to come back. Randy Vasquez will continue to get better. There was even talk yesterday with the Padres that they're thinking about going to a 6-man rotation. Now, I don't think they need to do that early because they've got a lot of days off early in the year. In fact, I brought this up on their schedule. When they open up against Detroit, and that's not going to be easy. Detroit's going to be favored to win the American League Central, by the way. And I would think we're going to get Tarek Skubal, the best pitcher right now in baseball. Him and Skeen, obviously, Skubal's the best left-hander in baseball right now. Probably going to see him on opening day. And very well may see either Verlander or Framber Valdez the next day. One of those guys is going to pitch game 2. One of them will probably pitch game 3. And then the Padres are off. Believe it or not, they're off on Sunday. You don't get too many Sundays off in Major League Baseball, and the Padres get their first Sunday off. So I got a lot to talk about today. I'm going to get into the Major League Baseball Players Association here in a little bit, but I want to get out to your questions because I think everybody out there has a lot of questions, and we'll try to give you the best answers we possibly can. But give me your take on the automatic ball strike system. Do you like it? And any other questions regarding the Padres or your favorite ball club for that matter. We got plenty of time this morning. Okay, let's get out to Coach's Crew. Keep them rolling today, folks. Keep them rolling. Richard Flores, never underestimate MLB's ability to shoot themselves in the foot. Owners have set aside millions of dollars to get them the lockout. The sport is healthy and thriving worldwide. This will be ugly. Richard, I'm going to talk more about that here after we get through Coach's crew. Uh, but it is going to get ugly. I think it's going to get ugly. I think there will be a lockout on December 1st. In fact, I would bet the farm on it. I don't see this getting resolved before December 1st. And I just don't know how much it's going to cut into spring training and possibly the regular season in 2027. But I'm going to talk more about that here in a little bit. But thank you very much, Richard. I appreciate that. Ocean View Coffee Shop. Nice. Struble, Valdez, and Verlander. Yeah, well, that'll be interesting. Those guys don't give up too many runs. And if Verlander comes back and pitches like he did down the stretch last year for the Giants, he's going to really add a lot. I thought last year, early in the year, I thought he was done. Started off 0-8, ERA of almost 6, and then all of a sudden he found the fountain of youth there with the Giants. I don't know what it was, but he pitched great the second half of the year. Really pitched great. And Scooble, we know what he's all about. Framber Valdez, I've always liked a great deal. He's a real competitor. He's a guy that wants to go out there and he wants to go the distance if he can. So that's not going to be an easy weekend for the Padres. That's for damn sure. But you know what? Detroit, good ball club, but they got to go against our guys too. We got some pretty good guys as well. But man, Scooble, Valdez, and Verlander right out of the gate. Well, look at it this way: it's got to get easier after those guys. Ocean View Coffee Shop. Have a great day, and I would imagine you've been very, very busy with this wet weather, and it sounds like it's going to clear up, man. We're going to, I know my granddaughter's softball league at Encinitas, their opening day got wiped out yesterday, even though the sun will probably come out. You got to get out in the field and work it. I was talking to Carlos Quinton yesterday, the former Padre. His daughter, good athlete, plays with my granddaughter. And I saw him when I was having lunch with a friend yesterday. I went to this place in Cardiff yesterday. Fish 101, great place, by the way. And I went there with a buddy named Ken Gross. Ken used to be the assistant athletic director at UCSD. We are friends, and he was at a basketball game. Hey, let's have lunch. So we go in there. First guy I see when I walk in is Rick Sutcliffe, a former great Cub. And Rick, doing Cub games, was flying back, came home for his wedding anniversary, take his wife out, and then was going back doing some games this weekend for the Cubbies. And then Carlos and his two kids came in and had a nice conversation. I go, Carl, we got to get that field up there ready to go. I go, the city of Encinitas, they locked the door. You know, you can't get out there with a rake and work it. And I know the outfield's a little bit soggy, but man, it's going to be sunny and windy today. Bright and early tomorrow morning, the sun will probably come out. I got to get these ball fields ready, man. You don't want to miss days at the ballpark. I loved working on the field, getting that field ready. I did some weird things when I was coaching. I brought in helicopters. I gasoline the infield. You can't do that stuff now. You'd get arrested. But when I was at Southwestern, I got the sheriff's helicopter. I pulled some strings and I got the sheriff's helicopter to come down to Southwestern College and fly over our infield and dry it out so we could play Eddie Olson in Grossmont College one afternoon. Did some really peculiar things to get ball games in. But man, I love working on a field. It's always a challenge, but nonetheless, Ocean View Coffee Shop. Thanks again. Have a great weekend. Okay, let's keep them coming right now. I'd do anything to get a ball game in. Casey King, good morning, coach, and happy opening of spring training games today. I will be out at Peoria on Sunday, seeing Dodgers versus Padres, and can't wait. That's great. And I don't know. I think the Padres, I don't know what everybody's asking me about their TV package. I don't know. That station they're on, they just like show up, they call the game, and they go off the air, and you get the next game it tells you, and then it just sits up there. They don't have any like highlight shows or studio shows or whatever, but it is what it is, okay? Least of all, we get the game. But I don't know. I heard they're only going to do 2 spring training games. Orsillo and Mark Grant, they're only going to do like 2 spring training games. Are you kidding me? I mean, with the way the fans love this ball club, you're going to do only 2 spring training games? That's not good. We can do better than that. But you know what? We'll get more. You know why? Because everybody else does a lot. Seattle, the Dodgers, the Giants, and on the MLB network, if you get the MLB network, and I know not everybody does, They'll always have a game on in the morning. They'll have a game on in the afternoon. And I don't know what ESPN's going to do. ESPN probably doesn't have any games this year. They ran spring training games. I don't even know where some of these games are showing up, to be honest with you. I have no idea. I guess NBC's got them. I can't keep track of this TV crap. I just know I buy the extra innings package. I can watch any game. I can watch the Dodgers, the Angels, the Giants, the Pirates. I love those Pittsburgh games like at 9:35 on Thursday morning. Not that I sit there and watch every pitch, but I have it on in the background. I'm listening to baseball as I'm working around the house, doing things, getting ready for the next show. But I'm fired up, man. This is my time of year. This is my time of year. Live, breathe. In fact, when I get done today, I'm going out to a local high school. Winton Bernard, who played in the big leagues with Colorado, signing his contract today, going back to the Mexican League, hit over 300 last year, 35 years of age, still trying to get signed in the United States. But because of Rob Manfred wiping out 42 teams and limiting the rosters now, a lot of veteran guys can't get signed in the States, so they go to Mexico to play. So Winton's going to Mexico. I'm going to go out with him. And we got a young ball player coming in town from New Mexico that I'm going to evaluate for their family. They think he might be a Division I player. They wanted me to come out and evaluate him a little bit. So we're going to go out and watch him hit, watch him throw a little bit, field. So I'm looking forward to going to the ballpark. Going to be a little bit cool out there today, but I'm looking forward to going out there right after the program this morning. But this is a time of year. Get my grandson out, my granddaughter. We're going to be working on all kinds of fundamentals. This is great stuff. This is a great time of year. Everybody's going to be 162-0 in the big leagues. Isn't that right? I mean, that's the way you got to look at it. And the thing is, here in San Diego, I know the window of opportunity may be closing on us a little bit because of age. But, we still got a really good ball club. We're going to make the playoffs. We're going to make the playoffs this year. I know the Giants are better. I think Arizona's a good ball club. We're going to make the playoffs. We only have to be better than 9 teams in the National League. And there's a lot of teams that don't even try to win. They don't even really try to win. Their players try to win, but the organizations don't. Our organization wants to win. And they've given us good enough ball players to go out there and win with. Casey, thank you very much, and have a great time. And Casey, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm looking forward to you reaching out on Monday and let me know how that experience was. I'll very much look forward to that. Okay, Big Steve Tejas. Here's a good right-hander. Hi, Coach. Any news on Darvish? Are they going to let him be in the dugout? He can help all these new pitchers. We signed him and Niebla will work wonders for our pitchers. Hey, Steve, what they're saying right now, Darvish is going to kind of hang with the Japanese WBC squad, and then he'll be coming over to the Padres here and there. No time frame as far as the contract, still ongoing. I think what would be fair, in my opinion, because Darvish, it sounds like he's willing to forfeit a part of that salary, maybe all of it, maybe forfeit this year. But I think he should make his money this year because he could, if he wanted to, he could keep trying to come back every year and never ever pitch again. And he'd get paid all that money the next, 43 million over the next 3 years. I think what they should do is I would pay Darvish for this year. I would pay, and I know they've got an insurance policy. I would pay him the money this year. And then he's going to have to get out of this deal. But the Major League Baseball Players Association is not going to buy into it. They do not want him to do that. And that's going to be a stumbling block. And I'll talk more about the Players Association here in a few minutes, but that's a tricky deal once you've signed that contract, unless he flat out retired. If he retired, that would be null and void. But he not retired. He just wants to get out of the contract. So I don't know. A lot of things going on behind the scenes on that, but I think during the regular season, he'll be with the ball club quite a bit. Now he's got a son that's pitching at Cathedral Catholic. I think he's going to USD after he graduates. I'm sure you's going to want to go watch him play a little bit. And you know what? More power to him. Your kids' careers go so quickly. Go watch him, and then drive down to the ballpark, hang with the guys, be at the ballpark on days your son's not playing. I'm fine with that. This guy's been a good trooper for a long time, and he's always been a giver, not a taker. So whatever you Darvish decides, I'm fine with it. I really am. I will never sit here and criticize you Darvish. Never, ever, ever. Because I don't know the man, but I know a lot about him. I know what makes him tick. And I'm not going to ever criticize because he does things the way you would like everybody to do things. He's a real pro and he's a giver. I'm not going to get into some of the things I know he's done around San Diego, but I'll tell you what, without even being asked, he has done some really cool things that almost make me a little bit emotional because he's a guy that cares about other people. Got a lot of respect for you, Darvish. I don't know if I'll ever meet him, but I got a lot of respect for him. And I think he goes about his business the way that I wish not only ball players would go about, but people in everyday life, looking at the glasses very full rather than half empty. And he's a good man, and he's very appreciative of what he has, and he's not afraid to share a lot of that with other people and people of need. So I'll leave it at that. But Steve, thank you very much. Good to hear from you, buddy. Hope all's well. Okay, what else we got here? Lance, maybe we should get rid of EG. So arrogant, but TV contract is under his watch and failing. I don't know. You know what? I don't know if you can blame any one person. I mean, look what Bally Sports. A lot of these guys have, packed it in. Now the Angels. I'm anxious to see what the Angels. The Angels, I heard last week, and I'll check next week. I heard they were looking to do their own thing, but they didn't have a crew. You got to get a truck. There's a lot of work to put on a game night in and night out. And, MLB could come in and do it. It's going to be a cookie cutter broadcast like the Padre broadcast. I mean, everything's pretty much night after night after night. Let's go down to the field after the game and they do a little tap dance, talk about two or three things. Then they go to the manager's report. Next thing you know, they come back, tell you about who's pitching tomorrow, and the show's over. I watched that Dodger post game. They go for like an hour. They interview players every night. Some of these other organizations, Arizona, they interview players every night. And I mean, like everybody. I mean, it's amazing. The Dodger post-game show, they got like three guys, like Jerry Hairston Jr., and they'll have Nomar, and then they'll have John Hartung. They have those guys every night. And I know, they got a lot of money. But you know what? There's other organizations that have money, and they could do that. Colorado does a pretty good job, and they lost a million games last year. They do a good job with their post-game show. I watch it all. I watch baseball until it goes off the air every night during the regular season. I don't care if it's an extra inning game. I watch the last. I turn around and see if I can find an extra inning game at 10:30. Anybody? San Francisco still playing? Those games up in the Bay Area always seem to take a long time. Even the Dodger game. Their games take long. I don't know why, but maybe because they score a lot of runs and there are a lot of pitching changes. But man, I watch everything. I try to keep my eye on every ball club and those 4 o'clock games. A lot of those teams are starting at 3:40 now. The old 4:10 starts are going by the wayside on the East Coast. A lot of 3:40 starts now. But the TV thing is rough. Maybe with new ownership, maybe they'll go a different direction. I'll tell you what, we lost a lot. This is my opinion. We lost a lot when Channel 4 in San Diego went away. Okay, we lost a lot from the simple standpoint. Padre baseball, good pregame, good in game, good post game. Jane Mitchell would go around and do those one-on-ones with players. Bob Chandler was on the station. We did high school football and basketball championships. USD would have some games on. San Diego State would have some games on. When Channel 4 went away, we lost a lot as sports fans here in San Diego, in my opinion. You may agree or disagree, but I got news for you. You got to agree with me because there are no high school sports on San Diego anymore. You don't see USD. San Diego State, they're on TV on CBS Sports Network and a whole different dichotomy now. But the Padres, they don't do a whole lot before and a whole lot after, but they just basically give you the game. And a lot of the other stuff is just kind of tap dance stuff. Okay, thank you very much. Very much appreciate that question. All right, Justice, will this be on TV today? I don't think so, unless the MLB network is picking it up. I don't think we'll see it today. I don't think we'll see it today. It's that simple. I don't know if we're going to see the Padres all weekend, to be honest with you. I haven't seen the TV schedule to where they'd be on. They'll probably do, I would imagine they'll do like a Friday night game or a Saturday game. They ought to do all the night games at least. Do all the night games. Maybe pick up some of the other games on MLB Network for an afternoon game. Well, I'm sure we'll get a lot of Dodgers. I'm sure we'll get a lot of Angels here in San Diego, and just hopefully, maybe Sunday's game. Maybe Sunday's game will be on TV on the MLB Network because they're playing the Dodgers. That would make sense. They're going to show the Dodgers and Ohtani as much as they possibly can, and you know what? They should. Dodgers play. It's that simple. Dodgers play. But it also the great rivalry between the Padres and Dodgers. Whether the Dodgers think it's a rivalry or not, it's a rivalry. All right, Justice, thank you very much. Very much appreciate that. All right, Pancho, coach, the Padres play the Angels in Anaheim this year. It'll be my first time at Angel Stadium. I like Angel Stadium. It's old. I can tell you this, the parking's a lot cheaper. I don't know if they're going to raise the parking, but I went there last year. Preferred parking. Now get this, preferred parking right next to the front gate, $30. And just general parking was $20. So and down there, the cheapest you can get it at Petco is like $51 or $52. And now they're going to start charging everybody at the meters. I guess that's still in play. I don't know what the hell's going on with the parking in this town. It's unbelievable. Balboa Park, the zoo. Are you kidding me? Zoo's been in existence since before, I don't know, 1900 something. And now they're going to park, and nobody's going to the museums now. They're going to lose money down there, those museum people. But I heard they're going to start charging, like from about 2.5 hours before game, they're going to start charging $10 an hour at the parking meters within a half a mile of Petco Park. I mean, talk about a money grab for crying out loud. But you know what? Going to an Angel game's kind of fun. It doesn't have all the bells and whistles that some ballparks have, but you know what? I don't personally need that. I like going to baseball. I don't need the club atmosphere. I want to go watch a ball game, have a hot dog, have a Coke, and have some popcorn or peanuts, and watch a ball game. And we did that last year for my grandson's seventh birthday. They were at Disneyland, so my wife and I we drove up on a Sunday and watched them play the Cleveland Indians or Cleveland Guardians. Had a great time. Great. I hadn't been to Angel Stadium in a number of years, but that's where I saw my very first ball game in 1966. As a little kid, my dad took me, and we sat from the second to last row in the upper deck. But you know what? I remember so much about the game. I can tell you this: both starting pitchers went the distance. Dean Chance got the win over Gary Bell. Tom Satriano got a base hit in the bottom of the ninth inning to win the ball game 2-1 for the Angels over the then Cleveland Indians. Pancho, you have a great time up there at Angel Stadium. It's a lot of fun. A lot of fun. The halo will shine tonight. I used to get the biggest kick out of that. I grew up on Dick Enberg. Kristen, thank you very much. Walker Buehler should open on Sunday versus Dodgers. Yeah, I don't know what the lineup is. We mentioned today it was supposed to be Logan Gillespie, but his wife went into labor, so it's going to be the left-hander Jagger Haynes. I don't know if Walker Buehler's ready to throw against his old ball club, but that would be funny. But you know what? There's a chance he makes the ball club. There's a high percentage that he'll pitch at some point in time against the Dodgers, maybe at Dodger Stadium. That would be interesting, wouldn't it? Kirsten, thank you very much. Very much appreciate that. Okay, what else we got here? Bruce Meyer, new executive director of MLBPA, unanimously voted in after Tony Clark resigned earlier in the week. This is going to be interesting because Bruce Meyer he's going to dig in. And he's a good negotiator. He's a tough negotiator. He's going to want it all on his side and leave Major League Baseball with nothing. Here's the deal, and I'm going to give you my whole dissertation on this. Yesterday, Meyer defended free agency and salary arbitration. Okay. And you know what? I have no problem with that. I have no problem with free agency um, and salary arbitration. He also dismissed the possibility of a salary cap. Now we're getting down to the brass tacks. Okay, Meyer said he believes in a meritocracy. Quote, we believe in a system and players believe in a system that rewards players for performance. How about lack of performance, Bruce? Okay, now here's how I would look at this. And we'll take some more questions on this if you want to weigh in. We'll open up our coaches crew again on this. This is really key. See, I got a real big problem with these long-term contracts. And I also have a problem with players that sign these big contracts and they go south in a hurry for a variety of reasons: lack of motivation, age, not working hard enough to get in shape to where they can perform to the level they did prior to getting that contract. You're always paying guys for what they've done, not what they're going to do. Now, here's my take, my suggestion. And a lot of people, I don't know if either side would buy into what I'm saying here, but here's how I would handle it if I were the owners. My suggestion: free agency stays the same, no salary cap. Minimum, each team has to spend, come up with whatever the number is, 85 million, 90, whatever baseball decide, hey, we got to spend, every team has got to spend X amount of $1 million. Okay, so there is going to be a floor. There won't be a ceiling, but there will be a floor. Now, here's what I got. All contracts players sign at least 30 to 50% guaranteed money. Okay, 30 to 50% is guaranteed money. Every contract, every major league contract a player signs, he gets 30 to 50% negotiable on his contract. Okay? So if I want to cut that guy, I can cut him at any time. And if I owed him, more for the season, that's fine. It would all be prorated. But if I signed a contract, I get at least 30%, or my agent got me 35%, or I'm one of the upper echelon guys, 50% of my contract is guaranteed. If I sign a 3-year deal for $30 million, I know that I'm guaranteed $15 million. But at any point during that contract, I suck and they want to get rid of me, or I'm a pain in the ass and they want to get rid of me, I don't get any more. I get what I earned. I get my guaranteed money, and the days that I played, it's all prorated. To me, I look at the NFL. NFL player, some guys get guaranteed money. A lot of them just get a contract, and if they're not performing, they miss a block or they drop a pass and they get cut. They're out of a job. Go get a job. Go find a job at McDonald's or Jack in the Box, or try to get re-signed. I'm tired of watching guys like a guy like Anthony Rendon, who made millions and millions of millions and didn't show any remorse for being not playing, injuries. And he talked about how he didn't really like playing the game of baseball. Well, then why the hell did you sign that big contract? I think guys need to have motivation. And I think a lot of guys, it's easy when they have millions of dollars. They join the country club. They're playing golf with their buddies in December, in January, when they ought to be working out, getting ready, and they come in, they get hurt, and then they sit on the IL while they're collecting big checks. That's how I would do it. Every contract negotiable. Players get guaranteed money, 30 to 50%, no more than 50%, and then they get paid while they're playing. But at any point in time that the ball club wants to cut them, they can cut them. They get their guaranteed money and whatever else the ball club owes them, and that's it. That's how I would handle this myself. You don't have to have a salary cap. You don't have to have a salary cap. You got to give owners and general managers flexibility to get rid of a guy if he's not performing. If you're not performing in your job, you come in late, or you leave early without, letting your boss know, or your work's not up to standard, you're out of a job. You're out of a job. And I think baseball players should be the same. You got to hold these guys accountable for getting the job done. If you're a good guy, you're hardworking, you maybe have a bad year team. If you're a good guy, they're going to give you the benefit of the doubt. But if you have that second bad year, they want to cut bait, they cut bait. And you're still getting your guaranteed money. Hell, if I signed a 3-year deal for $30 million, I know I'm getting $15 million if my agent has negotiated 50%. So even if I suck, I know I'm getting $15 million. But if I got a chance to get 30, I want to get 30. I want to get greedy. I want to go out there and bust my butt, and I want to earn my money. That's how I would handle it. But the owners are going to want a salary cap. They're going to want a salary cap, and Bruce Meyer is going to dig in. But this would be my suggestion. Do you like that? If you got a comment, go ahead. Jonathan will put those comments up here, and we can talk about it. And then I'm going to get to a little college basketball today. Got to update you on what's going on in San Diego. All right, Lance, can agree with you to a point, but it would only benefit the top teams even more. They can buy their way out of mistakes and sign the next best guy. Rich stay richer. You know what? To a certain degree, that's always going to happen. Even if you put a salary cap in, the Dodgers are going to be right up there every year. The Mets are going to be right up there every year. Yankees are going to be right up there every year. Some teams may slowly inch their way up, but there's always going to be the haves and the have-nots. And even the have-nots could be a little bit more of a player than they are right now. But I want to see better baseball. And the only way you get better baseball is by forcing these guys to put a little pressure on the players to get better and keep working hard and don't get fat and sassy. That's my take. That's how I look at it. But I think if you can have the hammer over the players, and if you suck, you're gone. That's what I want to see. If a guy's not performing, you're gone. I mean, right now, if you had a guy, and we'll say just player X, you sign him to a 5-year deal, okay, and he's been pretty good somewhere. He comes in the first year, he's okay. Next year, he's not good, and then the third year, his skills have eroded. But you've got him that year and 2 more years. You want to get rid of him. You want to get rid of him. You don't want to pay for a guy that's not performing and putting up numbers and helping you win ball games. I got to have some type of hammer over those guys. I would rather have that than a salary cap. I want to be able to cut these guys anytime I want. Guys, a problem in the clubhouse, you're gone. See ya. That's what I want. And I think you can have a better hammer that way than a salary cap. Salary cap guys are still getting all this money, regardless if they're good or bad. That's the way I look at it, Lance. I guess I'm looking at it from a variety of different ways. But I think a lot of these owners, there has to be a ceiling floor, because there are a lot of owners that could spend more money than they're doing right now. They're putting too much in their pocket. Lance, thank you very much. Isabella, the owners choose not to spend the money. The salary cap is never going to happen. The salary cap's going to be a big argument. I think I came up with a great proposal. I'm trying to motivate players to continue to play well. And if you don't play well, then you know what? You're out of a job. Maybe you retire. A lot of guys are hanging on because they want to get that extra year or two. And the team, what are they going to do? Now, in the case of Philadelphia, Castellanos and them, they saw him as being a real pain in the ass. So they're willing to eat $20 million. Wow, that's a lot of money. A lot of money. I mean, that's life-changing money. That changes your life all the way around. And I know, you don't get $20 million. They probably get, by the time they pay their agent and taxes and 38 other things, they probably get, maybe 10 million. But you know what? I think I could live on 10 million the rest of my life. Hell, I think I could have lived on 10 million if I was 21 years of age. But I want these players to have to continue to work to get better. Don't be satisfied just because you signed that big deal. Perform, earn the money. And salary cap going to be tough. But I'm not as big on the salary cap as I am on being able to cut guys if they don't perform. That's why I said their agents should negotiate and baseball put in play no more than 50% of the money is guaranteed. No more than 50% between a minimum of 30, a maximum of 50. So they get that money. Like I mentioned, if they signed a contract for 30 million, they're guaranteed 15 million. But, and they play the first year and, they didn't get the job done. You want to get rid of them or after the second year, you cut them and it's all prorated to how many games they played and what they earned and blah, 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 blah. But they're getting $15 million. That's my take. Thank you very much. Richard, the salary cap is a way out for other teams not to spend. They will never spend up to the cap. Why punish the Dodgers for being an intelligent organization? I'm fine with that. Dodgers want to put in their money. The Dodgers, I can't remember the exact number. I think of the revenue that the Dodgers bring in, uh, whatever it was, they put back into their roster 73% of the revenue that is generated. Where other teams are putting 57, 63, Dodgers they put a very high percentage of the revenue they bring in back into the ball club. Colorado, it'd be interesting to see what Colorado does. I like the Colorado organization. I love the ballpark, by the way. Um, I don't know why they can't be a little bit better. I don't know about their farm system. I know their major league roster, they just don't spend a lot of money. But Colorado, to me, could be a diamond in the rough, but the owner just doesn't want to put in the money because their fan base there, they come from all over. They come from all over to watch the Rockies. Rockies, they got a beautiful ballpark. If you've never been to Coors Field, it's really cool. Downtown area is really cool. Um, I'd like to see them do a little bit better, and I think they can. And I think there are a lot of teams out there that could put a little more money into their roster, but putting money into the roster doesn't always equate to wins. You got to develop ball players. You got to get guys a high mental makeup that want to help push one another to be better and better and better. Richard, thank you very much. There's always going to be the haves and have-not. I was having dinner the other night with a bunch of baseball guys Wednesday night, and we were talking about salary caps. And I go, you know what? And the guy was talking about the Dodgers. I go, you know what? The Dodgers are the present day Yankees. When I was growing up in the 60s and 70s, Yankees were always spending money. In the 80s, they were always spending money. There's always going to be that one big organization that spends money. And we got a couple or three right now. I mean, you got the Dodgers, you got the Yankees, you got the Mets. All those teams spend money. Even Toronto's spending money. All right, we got anything else there? Okay, let's get to college basketball. Tomorrow afternoon, big game for the Aztecs. They're all big the rest of the way because I think they're on the outside looking into the NCAA tournament. I think they're going to have to win the Mountain West Conference tournament. The only way they would get in without winning the Mountain West Conference tournament, I think, they're going to have to run the table. And they got Colorado State tomorrow at 3 o'clock at Moby Arena. Colorado State's not great, but they can beat you in their home arena. And then next Wednesday, the Aztecs have Utah State. Utah State playing great basketball right now, playing with a lot of confidence. They beat the Aztecs earlier in the year up in Logan, but the Aztecs got them Wednesday night. Then the Aztecs have to go on the road to New Mexico at Boise State, and they finish up the regular season at UNO or home against UNLV. Now, Utah State leading at 13-2, Aztecs 12-3, a game back. You got New Mexico 11-4, 2 games back. Grand Canyon 10-5, 3 games back. Nevada 4 games back at 9-6. Aztecs run the table and say they win the regular season Mountain West Conference. Yeah, they could get in possibly, but I think you win 4 out of 5. You get to at least the semifinals. I don't think the quarterfinals will get you in. I think you got to get to the semifinals, and if you were to get beat, I think because of what you've done down the stretch, you may get in. They may end up in the NIT, and I read the article yesterday in the paper. NIT could be a problem because the first 2 rounds of the NCAA are at Viejas Arena. They could play maybe at Jenny Craig. They could play at Front Wave Arena, the Sports Arena, Pachanga Arena. That's out of sight now. The only thing they have there is the Globetrotters. I think they're coming in this weekend actually. But Aztecs big game tomorrow. Everyone's a big game, and that game next Wednesday night will be huge. That'll be a heck of a game. Tomorrow night up at the Bren Center, UC San Diego, their only game this week. They're coming in conference right now with a record of 8-7. Hawaii got beat last night on the island by Cal Poly. Got beat pretty good, by the way. So Hawaii now a game back of Irvine. Irvine leading the conference 11-4, Hawaii 10-5, CSUN, Cal State University Northridge 10-5, UC Santa Barbara 10-6. So those are the four teams right now that would get first round buys in the Big West tournament. UC San Diego trying to find a way to get in the top four so you don't have to win four games in 4 days. And they'll have two home games next week. They've got Cal State University Bakersfield next Thursday night. And then they close out their regular season against a really tough Cal Poly team. And I mentioned Cal Poly just beat Hawaii last night late on the islands. USD playing tomorrow, 11-17, 5-10. Steve Lavin fired. It's pretty amazing. I mentioned on the show Monday that I thought Kimya Massey was going to have to make a decision pretty quick on Steve Lavin, and the next day, boom, he was gone. Um, I guess I was reading the tea leaves pretty good. So far, finishing up his fourth year, Coach Lavin 46-79, but only 18-47 in conference play. He's going to coach the remainder of 3 games. That would be tough. I mean, that'd be tough knowing everybody knows you're getting fired or you've been fired and you got to walk the sideline. So they have 3 more regular season games. And then they will have the conference tournament. They'll be in the conference tournament. And now some of the names are starting to pop up. David Fisdale, an alum. I used to call David's games on television when he was playing back in the early 90s for Brad Holland. Went on and has coached a number of years in the NBA. Had a little bit of coaching experience at USD as an assistant at Fresno State before he went in to the NBA and coached in Memphis as a head coach. He had that job with the New York Knicks, and the Knicks job didn't go real well. They were kind of in trouble at that point in time, so he didn't last long there. So he's in. His name's been in the mix. Craig Smith, the former Utah coach. Matt Logie, who's up at Montana State. In fact, Sam Scholl, the prior head coach at USD, is on Matt Logie's staff, and Matt Logie was the head coach a few years back at Point Loma Nazarene. Did a really nice job there and trying to get that thing going up there at Montana State. And then another guy who was a hell of a coach, hadn't coached in a few years. Great coach, great guy, by the way. Larry Kristoviak, who played 10 years in the NBA, had a really good run at Montana where he played and had a really nice 10-year run at the University of Utah. I don't know if Larry Kristoviak wants to continue to coach. He's been watching his daughters are fantastic volleyball players. His one daughter, Finley, was the CIF Player of the Year this year and is off to Penn State. And his other daughter, Samantha, a great beach volleyball player, headed to Stanford. So I don't know if he wants to continue to coach or not. But I can tell you this, if Bill Walton were alive, he would be making a phone call to Kim Massey on behalf of Larry Kristoviak because Bill Walton was a big Kristoviak fan. And somebody's got to come into USD and get that program going. It has really struggled for many years now. And the fan base is pretty much eroded. They're going to have to start from scratch out there. So it'll be very interesting how Kimya Massey, this will be his first big hire out there at USD, and it has to be a good one, no doubt about it. Okay, let's get to Coach's Mailbag. See what we have from the last program, questions we didn't get to. All right, 987 Cayman 07. Clubhouse could be a mess this year under first year manager and likely a new owner. Everyone has an ego to the detriment of the team. Well, you know what? I'm not going to go there yet. Well, let's wait and see how this plays out. Let's don't start problems before they happen. Like I've said before, the clubhouse is pretty good. When Manny walks in with a smile on his face, everybody's at ease. If he comes in a bad mood, that sets a negative tone in the Padre clubhouse. This Padre team goes the way Manny goes, on the field as well as off the field. So let's leave it at that right now. See what happens. I don't know when we're going to have a new owner. I wish I could be a part of the ownership group. I'd want to do so many things. I want to do things for the fans. I want to lower ticket prices. One of the things I want to do for the fans. I'd have to look at the profit margins but Padre fans are the best. I mean, they're paying a ton of money to go to ball games, and they keep packing the ballpark for that club every night. It's unbelievable. Really is unbelievable. I know one thing. I would take down the prices on Park in the Park. I want to get young families out there at an affordable price. It's gotten a little ridiculous for me. That's me. All right. What else we got? Stephen commented, I like the signing of Bueller. Of all the signing, we know he can pitch when healthy. That's right. And he did very well when he went to Philadelphia. He had 3 games, 2 starts, went 3-0, and had a 0.66 ERA. Didn't have as good a ERA. ERA was well over 5 with Boston. But, he's not used to pitching in the American League either, especially the American League East. Stephen, thank you very much. Appreciate that. What else we got here? That's going to be it. Oh, man, what a show. Right at 10 o'clock, we got the job done. Hey, thank you very much for tuning in. Make sure you subscribe, like, share, tell a friend. And again, if you'd like to be a part of our Gold Glove membership, $2.99 a month. Enjoy the baseball this weekend. We'll have a lot to talk about on Monday. And I have a little surprise for you on Monday as well. So make sure you stay tuned. I got some nuggets on our Padres that we'll share with you on Monday. Until then, for Jonathan Oliveri, Coach John Kentera, have a great weekend, everyone. Bye-bye.